Hi everyone, I'm Anna Jack, a 29-year-old interior designer running my own firm in Boston. And let me tell you, I've got a story you won't believe about how my mother-in-law tried to turn me into her personal servant, but ended up losing everything instead. It all started when I met James Parker. He was the lead architect on a downtown development project, and I was handling the interior design. Our professional partnership quickly blossomed into something more during coffee breaks and site visits. Your vision for these spaces is incredible, James told me during one of our early meetings. The way you balance functionality and aesthetics is exactly what we need. Everything felt like a dream until I met Patricia Parker, his mother. Patricia swept into one of our office meetings as if she owned the place. And technically, she did, being a prominent real estate mogul. "Oh, so you're the designer James keeps mentioning," she said, giving my portfolio a once-over. "Interesting choices. A bit modern for our typical clientele, don't you think?" My business partner, Linda, spotted the red flags immediately. Over lunch the next day, she didn't hold back. "Girl, did you catch that shade she threw at your portfolio? She basically dismissed your entire career in one sentence," Linda said, shaking her head. But I was already falling hard for James. His sister, Diana, seemed to sympathize during a family dinner, pulling me aside to whisper a warning. "Anna, just so you know, Mom's particular about who joins the family. She had her heart set on James marrying Michael Collins. You know, the son of her country club bestie. Family dinners were a minefield. Patricia treated me like an amusing accessory, constantly suggesting ways I could help. Anna dear," she said one night, "since you have such an eye for design, perhaps you could handle the table settings. It'll be good practice for entertaining." When James proposed 6 months later, I was thrilled, until we announced it at one of Patricia's elaborate family dinners. "Oh, how wonderful," Patricia said, her smile tighter than her facelift. "Though perhaps it's a bit soon. Anna, darling, you'll be taking time off work for the wedding, won't you? There's so much to do, and everything must be done properly for our circle." That night, I overheard her on the phone. "Can you believe it, Margaret? After all my efforts to set him up with Michael's sister, now I have to deal with this. But don't worry, I have plans." When James noticed my upset face, he squeezed my hand. "Don't worry about Mom," he said. "She'll come around." Little did I know, Patricia's campaign to make my life miserable was just beginning. A wedding war. Planning our wedding became Patricia's power trip. Every weekend, she issued commands like a general preparing for battle. "These centerpieces are unacceptable," she declared. "Start over. And while you're at it, organize the kitchen. Since you'll be joining the family soon, it's time you learn where everything belongs." I spent countless Sundays reorganizing her sprawling mansion while she entertained her friends, parading me around as if I were her new maid. "Anna's so helpful around the house," she cooed to her guests. "She's learning our ways, aren't you, dear?" James, he just stood there, squirming uncomfortably. "Mom's just traditional," he said later. "Try to understand." The manipulation didn't stop there. Patricia began scheduling urgent family meetings, always during my client presentations. "What do you mean you can't make it?" she scolded over the phone. "Family comes first, Anna. Or are you suggesting your little design projects matter more than your future family?" Linda started noticing the fallout. Clients were backing out. Contracts mysteriously fell through. "This is weird," she said, slamming her laptop shut after yet another cancellation. "The Hendersons just pulled out. They said they got a call from a supposed former client who warned them about our unreliability." Diana eventually came to my office late one evening, her expression uneasy. "Anna," she began hesitantly, "you need to know something. Remember Jennifer, James' ex? Mom did the same thing to her. Jennifer had a thriving law career before she got involved with our family. Mom made sure she didn't keep it for long." It wasn't long before Patricia's web of lies and manipulations began to unravel. After Jennifer's story and Diana's quiet revelations, I started digging into Patricia's dealings. Linda and I worked late nights, poring over records, tracing mysterious calls, and connecting the dots. "You won't believe this," Linda said one night, waving a stack of papers. "3 other women before you, all successful, all driven away by your lovely mother-in-law. And get this, she's not the queen bee she pretends to be. Those properties she brags about, mortgaged to the hilt. She's one missed payment away from losing everything." The next family dinner was a show. Patricia commanded the table with her usual overbearing demeanor, oblivious to my growing arsenal of evidence. "The wedding venue needs to be the Carlton," she declared. "Nothing else is acceptable for our circle." I took a sip of wine, pretending to mull it over. "Funny," I said lightly. "I heard they're not taking new bookings. Something about an outstanding balance from Diana's graduation party." Her face turned as pale as the porcelain plates in front of us. James finally broke his silence. "Mom, what's going on with the Carlton? Are we having money problems?" "Don't be ridiculous," Patricia snapped, recovering quickly. "I'm simply being prudent with our assets, unlike some people who waste money on unnecessary things like designer furniture." Under the table, Diana slipped me her phone. The screen showed a series of desperate text messages from Patricia to the bank. "She's trying to use your connections to save herself," Diana whispered later. "That's why she wanted James to marry into Michael's family. She needs their money." Suddenly, everything clicked. Patricia wasn't just controlling, she was a desperate woman trying to salvage her crumbling empire. But her biggest mistake, underestimating me. The final blow, the breaking point, came when Patricia announced her plans at yet another dinner. "I've decided to sell the mansion," she said casually, as if it were no big deal. "James, darling, I'll be moving into your new house. Anna can turn the guest room into my personal suite. She has such creative ideas. And Anna," she added, turning to me, "about your business. It's time to consider what's really important. A proper wife in our circle doesn't work. You'll need to focus on family matters." The audacity took my breath away. That week, her lawyer ambushed us with a prenup. "It's just standard," Patricia cooed. "With a small addition. I'll oversee all joint assets to protect the family interests." But Patricia wasn't the only one playing chess. Linda handed me a USB drive during lunch. "Your dear mother-in-law has been cooking the books for years," Linda said, a wicked grin on her face. "Moving money between accounts, faking invoices, it's textbook embezzlement." Diana had more ammunition. She met me at a coffee shop, dropping a thick folder on the table. "I've documented everything since I was 16, she said. The manipulation, the abuse, how she destroyed every woman who threatened her control. There's even a recording of her threatening James's first girlfriend." The piece de resistance came when Patricia demanded a private meeting in my office. I set up a hidden camera, and she delivered her usual performance. "Let's be frank, Anna," she said, dripping with fake diamonds and desperation. "Your business connections are impressive. I need them. Help me secure their investments, and maybe I'll let you keep your little design firm." "And if I refuse?" I asked, feigning innocence. "Oh, darling," she purred, "accidents happen in business. Reputations are so fragile." The showdown. The final confrontation happened during yet another family dinner. This time, I came armed. "You think you're clever," I said, standing up from the table. "But I know everything about the embezzlement, the threats, the lies. You've been stealing and manipulating everyone around you." Patricia's face turned stormy. "You have no idea what you're talking about." "Oh, I think I do." I pulled out my phone and played her earlier confession. Her jaw dropped as her own voice echoed through the room. "You recorded me," she hissed, her composure crumbling. Diana stepped forward, her own folder of evidence in hand. "You've been controlling and betraying us for years. It ends now." Patricia's mask cracked completely. "Fine," she spat. "I needed Anna's connections. My empire is falling apart, and her client list could save everything." James stood beside me, his face pale but resolute. "All these years," he said quietly, "I thought you were protecting us. But you were just protecting yourself." Patricia lunged for my phone, but James blocked her path. "It's over, Mother. Leave." As she stormed out, Diana whispered, "The Queen is about to lose her crown." The aftermath. I called an emergency board meeting at Patricia's company. Armed with evidence that would dismantle Patricia's empire and reputation, I stood before the board, calm but resolute. "Ladies and gentlemen of the board," I began, setting the thick folder of documents on the table. "I believe you'll find these records enlightening. Your CEO has been embezzling funds for years. Here is proof of every fraudulent transaction." The room erupted. Gasps, murmurs, and hurried whispers filled the air. As I laid out Patricia's crimes, the weight of her manipulations became undeniable. One by one, her former victims began to speak. She threatened to destroy my law career, Jennifer said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. And she succeeded. She tried to blackmail my family, Michael Collins added, glaring at Patricia. We're filing fraud charges for the fake investment scheme she ran. The dominoes fell fast. Patricia's once loyal allies turned their backs, and her wealthy friends scattered like rats abandoning a sinking ship. Did you hear about Patricia Parker? Whispers spread across every country club and gala, living beyond her means, cooking the books, threatening young women. I can't believe we ever associated with her. Margaret, her closest friend, denounced her publicly at a charity gala. Simply dreadful, she declared with a disdainful sniff. Even Diana finally broke free. I'm starting my own business, Mother, she announced, cold but triumphant. And no, I don't need your guidance. A new chapter. The wedding was everything I dreamed, small, intimate, and free of drama. A beachfront ceremony with close friends and family. Patricia was notably absent. To freedom, Diana toasted at the reception, raising her glass high. And to never letting anyone control us again, Linda added with a wink. James squeezed my hand, his voice soft. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. But I'm proud of you, for how you stood up to her. For how you've built this incredible life. After Patricia's influence evaporated, my design firm soared. The clients she had scared off returned in droves. Your work is exceptional, one of my biggest clients admitted sheepishly. We should have never listened to those false rumors. James and I partnered our firms, creating the city's leading architecture and design company. Another major contract, James announced one evening, waving a stack of signed papers. We're unstoppable together. The sweetest victory? We bought Patricia's foreclosed mansion at auction. When she found out, her fury was almost palpable. You can't do this, she shrieked over the phone. This is my family home. Was your family home? I corrected, my tone cool. Now it's just another property you lost through your own actions. The last I heard, Patricia had moved into a small apartment across town. The galas, the social circle, and her iron grip on everyone's lives were gone. She called again. Diana mentioned during one of our weekly lunches. I blocked her number. James nodded. We all did. We completely renovated the mansion, erasing every trace of Patricia's influence. The room she once planned to claim as her suite. It's now my home office, where I run my thriving business. Sometimes I can't believe how it all turned out, Linda said, sipping champagne during our housewarming party. From her trying to make you her maid to losing everything. Talk about justice. I looked around at my beautiful home, my successful business, and the loving family we had built. Without Patricia's toxic shadow looming over us, life felt brighter than ever. The best revenge isn't just winning, I told my gathered friends and family. It's thriving in exactly the ways they tried to prevent. James kissed my cheek, raising his glass. To new beginnings, the right way. As for Patricia, she became nothing more than a cautionary tale about how greed and cruelty can destroy even the most carefully crafted empire. Some say she still drives by the mansion occasionally, catching glimpses of the life she could have had. But we don't think about her anymore. We're too busy living our best lives.